What is up, guys? My name is Mibs and welcome back for yet another League of Legends video. So today we are playing none other than the sniper, Caitlyn. I absolutely love this champion. I don't know why. She just reminds me of back in the day when I met up with my friends and we basically just took our computers under our arm, went to each other's place and played Counter-Strike like all day long. It was amazing. And it just reminds me of using a sniper in Counter-Strike. I don't know why. I guess because it's sniper. I guess so. Maybe. Anyways, what we're going to be doing today is basically that I'm going to teach you guys how to play Caitlyn in terms of the overall macro play. Basically meaning how to play her in the early, mid, and late game, and kind of the decision making when playing her. So that's the basic idea on this one. I did go with exhaust this game. Heal is also very, very doable, but just considering the fact that I haven't really played that much against the new Gwyn and everything, I just felt like it would be kind of a fun thing to run with this. I think we'll flash here and we'll hopefully be able to push that off. Okay, we did end up using a lot of our summoners there. Not necessarily super worth it. I don't know what this dude is doing. Holy, oh god. Oh god. Really? All right, that was not good. Anyways, not much I can do about that one. With Caitlyn, yeah, let's just kind of get into it slowly and talk about the different pros and cons. Before we do so, and if you are new in here, then I would greatly appreciate it if you would go down below, click that subscribe button, join into our awesome community. And also, if you enjoyed the video, find it helpful or something, make sure to hit that like button. And lastly, if you do want to see me live, then I actually stream right here on YouTube, basically every Monday and Wednesday. So if you want to see those, make sure that you've put on the notification bell next to the subscribe button and click turn on all, because that's going to ensure that you do get the notification whenever I go live. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Caitlyn. Caitlyn is, first of all, one of the best, if not the best, ADC at rushing level 2. The reason for this is that overall, her Peacekeeper, her Q, is such a strong tool early that is really like, there's not really that many champs that can contest it push-wise, unless they do pick a champion that is going to allow them to, or a support that can kind of help them push. Some of the counters for Caitlyn is champs like Draven that can basically out-trade her. It is champs like Ashe that can be super annoying and poke constantly with W, and her ult is really, really good for just catching Caitlyn. So stuff like Ashe is also something you want to be careful with picking a Caitlyn against. And then we have, of course, the standard Nautilus Leona. That's a really, really difficult thing for Caitlyn to deal with. And lastly, Seraph. So those are some of the major threats where I would be a little careful if I was you in terms of picking Caitlyn into it. I'm not saying don't do it at all. I'm just saying that if you do it, you want to be very, very, very careful with it. This back is going to be very unsure. I'm going to get it off though. All right, I think, yeah, let's have a look. This game, I think we should be going. We can go Gale Force this game. I think that's gonna be interesting. The general thing with Caitlyn is most of the time you want to be going Gale Force if possible, if it makes somewhat sense, because Gale Force just works really good with her. It gives her extra mobility, extra burst, and it's just such a good, well-rounded tool for her. But there are games where you want to be going Kraken Slayer. If the enemy team is super tanky, then that's very, very much worth it. But for this game, I think we'll be okay with Gale Force. It's kind of on the edge, but I think Gale Force also just to show it off. When we're talking about the pros and cons of Caitlyn, then first of all, the first pro that comes to mind that you guys probably also know is, of course, the fact that she has extremely long range. So that's, of course, one of the big pros with her. The way you want to exploit this is basically that ideally you want to be pushing the enemy under their turret, and then you want to sit and poke them as much as you can while they're under turret, because you have so long range that you are actually able to do so. The only reason why I didn't push while we were here is because I was kind of waiting for, first of all, Thresh to come back, and secondly, they had a bigger minion wave than ours, meaning that this guy was actually losing farm just for me freezing that lane. But now that Thresh is back, I wanna start getting priority in lane. So I'm gonna be using my Q in order to just shove this under turret, such that we are able to start poking them under turret. In terms of the other pros of Caitlyn is, of course, that she has really great zone control because of... Whoop. I'm going to take this really quick. I know... Whoop. No, I'm not going to get it. We know Lee Sin is right here. Should be a free kill. Sweet. Well played by Thresh as well. Really well played. I played right into her hand. And pop that potion. Gotta be a little careful here still. I don't have my W ready. We do have our exhaust. So that's at least going to be a plus. But right here, again, we'll just push as much as we can. I'm going to start putting up traps. And we're actually doing pretty well right now. Like, we're slowly putting more and more pressure. We did get the kill on Lee Sin. And also Thresh has been doing pretty well, which is, of course, very fortunate. That does help us out quite a bit. But yeah, in terms of her long range, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's so freaking good. And her ability to zone control because of her traps. Her laning phase in general is really good. And you do pick Caitlyn to basically... like, you should... Against most comps, you should definitely be winning laning phase. See if we can... That was almost a round 2 for this Lee Sin. Almost a round 2. He literally came down here, almost died the second time. Yeah, I think he's going to think twice before coming down here again, which is, of course, really good. Let's grab ourselves. I'm going to get a new control ward because I do think they're going to remove what I have. If I can get down here in time, I think they're going to attempt this Drake. And at this point, they should be backing off. Because if I get down here now, we win this fight. But they haven't started it. But I can try and see if I can help our jungler get this Scuttle. Scuttle is actually a pretty big objective for junglers. So if we can somehow contest this... No. Okay, we won't. Then that's pretty good. Anyways, I'm going to hurry over here so I don't lose too many minions. But yeah, that's kind of like the overall. Let me just really quickly summarize all, like, basically the pros of playing Caitlyn. First of all, long range. She has great zone control using her traps. She has pretty good peel for herself using her E and her traps. Basically, just use the traps as kind of environment around you to kite around. She has high mobility. Basically, again, because of her E, she has a pretty decent amount of mobility. And her traps is also going to create that extra room between you and your enemy. And lastly, she has actually really high damage. She has really high burst. Like, she's pretty bursty. She's not as high DPS, meaning damage per second, as a lot of other ADCs, especially as you get into the later parts of the game. But with that said, she is still really freaking strong, and you should not be underestimating her at all. Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be a free kill. I'm just going to instantly exhaust this dude. We should be able to possibly push an armor plating. I want to be a little careful that I don't get hit by his Q because he does have his ult. So we're going to be pushing here. I'm going to be putting up some cheeky traps if I can. And again, one of the important things with Caitlyn is whenever people do step in your traps, especially in laning phase, when you're playing against, let's say, the Israel here in laning phase, if he steps into one of your traps, then you want to make sure that if you're in range, you want to be using your Peacekeeper instantly on him. And the reason why is that whenever somebody steps in your trap, then your Peacekeeper is going to be dealing full damage regardless of whether or not it hits other minions or other things on the way. And for those of you who don't know, then your Peacekeeper basically deals most damage to the first target it hits. So either you want to do clean hits where you don't hit any minions, or if they step into a trap, then you also deal full damage, meaning that if you can get them to step in your trap, your Q does an enormous amount of damage. To put it in perspective, your Q basically does, I think it's 60% less damage. We can just double check it on the ability, but 60% less damage after the first shot, basically. So it deals a lot less damage to any target after that. And of course, the damage in which it does less can be changed from patch to patch. But generally speaking, you want them to step in your traps so you can Q them and deal this heavy amino damage. All right, so let's stick behind these minions. Oh, that's good. Just gonna burst as much as we can here. Perfect. Well played by Thresh as well. And as you guys can see, we're literally just shredding through them. They're really struggling to do that much at this point. And Caitlyn is also not only like a good poke champ, but her ability to just like clear minions, she's pretty easy to farm with, is really like makes her really freaking fun. She's just like an overall really fun champion. In terms of some of her weaknesses is that, of course, Caitlyn is a champion that is extremely like, if she's behind, she really struggles to get back into the game. She really does. And this is something you do want to be very much aware of when playing her. All right, so I want to force them onto the other side. The reason why I'm doing this is because potentially I want to be looking to E this way. But right now, I'm a little... Actually, there's no point for me to go back there. I was totally safe. There we go. Another one. Nice. Ooh. That was a close one, Thresh. I'm going to give him... That was good. This Thresh is actually doing a pretty decent job. I'm really not complaining at all. All right. We have a TP coming down here. I'm going to try and get out of this. Perfect. And we get Gale Force. And this is going to be a huge power spike. Like a really huge power spike for us. We have 100 CS at around 12 minutes. Getting our Gale Force now. Finishing our boots. And we're soon going to be starting to build or Storm Racer. So that's going to be extremely huge for us. And really going to allow us to start snowballing this. So yeah. Fiora's of course going to try and see if she can get something out of her TP. Because she's probably going to be losing her own turret, or at least most of it from that TP. Yeah, okay, but let's... A few things that I just really want to make really clean. When you play Caitlyn, as soon as you get in lane at level 1, you want to make sure that you use your Q to get the power spike first. You want to get that level 2 power spike so you can start poking your opponent and really establishing pressure in the lane. That's really important. If you do fall behind, you're really going to have to try and find a way to shove the lane and see if you can establish pressure, because a Caitlyn without pressure is pretty much a losing Caitlyn. And having pressure doesn't necessarily mean that you've pushed them on their turret. It can also just mean that you're poking them every time they go in for farm. Yourself, you don't want to be giving up farm in order to poke somebody. That's not what I mean with it. You need to make sure that you hit your own farm, just as you've been able to see that we've done throughout this game. Like, getting your own farm is really important, but because of your Peacekeeper, you are going to be able to pretty easily poke people out really efficiently. All right, so I have my ult here. That should be a free kill. Boom. Thank you. And I'm going to be running up. See now if I can help get this Gwen down. I think she is probably going to just run away before I get there. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that was a huge kill steal. Didn't actually mean to take it, but you know what? If it works, it works. All right, so as we get into the mid game now, since we got the first turret down, then what you want to be doing is you want to be rotating mid. And the reason for this is that as you rotate mid, you're going to establish a lot more pressure throughout the entire game, because you and your support mid lane can put out more pressure in the game. There we go. Oh my god, that combo though. Oh, feels so good. Oh, we got him. We got him. You and your support can put out so much more pressure than your mid laner can. So generally speaking, your mid laner do want to, as soon as you guys rotate into mid, they want to be going for the bot lane. So, or they want to be rotating bot or top, depending on where the top laner is. So you want to have your mid go to the side lane. Of course, there are certain games where people or your teammates don't really want to do this. And in those kind of games, oh god, they actually surrendered. RIP. I'm actually really sad about this. I'll explain the rest really quickly. But in those kind of games, you of course just want to be rotating down to the side lanes and get the farm. One of the most important things when playing Caitlyn and playing ADC in general is that you want to make sure that you keep your farm up. So if your mid laner doesn't rotate to the side lanes, you have to go there yourself. See if you can establish pressure, see if you can push. The reason why it's best that you go mid lane is because then you're going to be closest to all of the objectives, meaning Baron, Rift Herald, Drake, etc. And you're going to have 2 people close instead of 1, which is ideally because, yeah, you can do more. And you, as an ADC, are really good at taking down objectives and dealing a sick ton of damage. So generally speaking, you want to be going mid lane. In terms of the rest of the game, as soon as you kind of reach that point, you want to make sure you keep your farm up, meaning that you get minions either from lane, you take some rat or some jungle camps whenever your jungler is on the opposite side, meaning you of course don't want to steal his jungle, but you can take it when he's really far away from it. And as soon as you start pushing objectives together, then in terms of the team fighting, you want to be playing the backline. You want to stay as far back as possible, using your traps as kind of a tool to make it hard for the enemy to approach you. And you want to be using your E as kind of a pushback for yourself to slow the enemy. And you can combine this with the EQ combo, which deals a really good chunk of damage. You saw us using it this game. We actually did like kind of a combo of it with an... We actually also did like an E and a Gale Force, which was really fun, which basically denied the pushback. So we pushed back and rushed back in, which is really fun. You can do a lot of cool combos, but in the team fighting, you want to stay back. You want to hit the closest target. You don't want to expose yourself. You have extremely long range, so you're hard to get to. So hit the closest target, swap target as soon as you can't reach that one anymore. If they pull back, you don't want to be chasing things down and making yourself vulnerable to other things. In terms of getting turrets down, this is where Caitlyn actually really exceeds. And the way she does this is basically that as you push to the turret, then you want to be putting down your 4 traps basically around the turret, creating kind of a wall between you and the enemy. So the enemy is going to be captured on the other side of their inhibitor, like basically standing in front of their inhibitor and behind the turret, trying to push in. But they're not really going to be able to because of those traps. And what you're going to do is you're going to exploit the massive range that Caitlyn have by walking up there, shooting once, walking back, and then repeatedly just run back and forth and poking the turret down. You don't want to stay still because that's going to make it really easy for them to catch you. And of course, you do want to always position yourself the furthest away from the most, what do you say, kind of the most dangerous part of their team. And of course, if you see that they have a chance to engage on you, you don't want to go forward. But as safely as you can, just sit and kind of poke down the turret. That's what you want to do. And in terms of fighting, you can also, especially if you go like a rapid fire cannon route, you can poke people down pretty easily at range as well, and just kind of poke them down before the games or before the actual fighting starts. But yeah, that's kind of the overall. But the mentality for the mid to late game on Caitlyn is you want to be team fighting, or you want to be playing together with your team around objectives. You don't want to be running around alone ever. You want to at least stay together with your support or someone else if you're doing something, because you're not a 1v1 champ. And then you want to be pushing for objectives, utilizing your extreme range, and hopefully winning the game by doing so. Anyway, I hope you guys could find some like usefulness in this video and found it somewhat helpful. If you did, then I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And if you are new in here, make sure to go down below, click that subscribe button, join into our awesome community. And if you want to see me live, then hit that bell, put on notifications for all, because then you will get a notification every time I start streaming, which is going to be every Monday, Wednesday, and then whenever I can, I will do extra streams. Like the previous weekend, we literally did like 3 streams, I think. So yeah, make sure you put that one on. But yeah, I think that's more or less it. Just one thing. If you want to support my dream of becoming a full-time content creator, then consider clicking the join button below and checking out the memberships we have. They're super cheap, anywhere from $2 going upwards. And it's literally really cool. There we got new emotes coming out that are extremely extremely nice, that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy, and there's a lot of other cool perks, so check them out. But with that said, all I've left to say is stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy, guys.